Hey everyone, Colt Calculated here, and for this video I'm trying out a new formula for episode-specific reviews and analysis. This video will stay spoiler-free, with the exception of the retrospective section. If you aren't caught up with the show, you may want to skip that part. It starts at this time, and goes until this time. Let's get started. The Showstoppers, Season 1, Episode 18. If you don't remember, this is the one where the Cutie Mark Crusaders move in together, go around town doing ridiculous things to try to get their cutie marks, as usual, and then they cosplay as Kiss. The thing they're doing with the cards is a psychic test using cards to evaluate a subject's affinity for extrasensory perception, known as the Zener test. In the test, a researcher would select a card from a deck of 5 sets of 5 cards shuffled randomly. If the subject could predict what card the researcher picked with more frequency, so more than half the time, they were considered psychic. This test was conducted mainly in the 1930s, but may still be found online today. Famously used by Joseph Banks Ryan until it was discredited by the scientific community after it was discovered that some researchers may be giving unconscious hints about the answer. Ryan changed up the experiment to eliminate these interactions, and since then, nobody has passed the test. To correct for the bias, he would put the subject who was being tested and the tester in separate rooms without the ability to see one another. Statistically, most people guess the average number correct, what you'd expect of picking numbers randomly. In this episode, we see an example of developmental psychologist Erik Erikson's stages of psychological development. More specifically, Stage 5, Identity versus Role Confusion. This is typical for ages 13 to 21. This is where adolescents are presented with the importance of finding out who they are, and is when they start to plan for their futures. During this stage, one considers what they are meant to do for the rest of their lives. Stresses from themselves and others, as well as failure to meet expectations, can cause a potentially permanent psychological identity crisis. In this episode, the CMC is going around trying to do things to see if they are related to their special talents. This is a trend with them, where they expect their every action to be the one thing they were meant to do, and you can see how it wears on them over the course of the episode. In my opinion, more, if not all of the episode should have been devoted to renovating the treehouse clubhouse. It could have been a fun activity to do together, while exploring useful skills in the process. The ending doesn't represent the episode well. They go around trying to find things they are good at, and are no closer at the end of the episode than the beginning to finding their talents. And why do they sometimes say Twilight Sparkle? Like, look, it is our friend, Twilight Sparkle. Like they're afraid we might forget who the main character is. But I love Sweetie Belle in this episode. She is hilarious. Back when she was more scatterbrained, she was adorable.
Are we there yet? There? Where? What? I don't even know what we're doing. What do you use the dress for? It'll help you with your patterns and help you put all the pieces in the right places. Oh, is that what that's for? Maybe you should also clean your paintbrush between each color. Oh, I was wondering why all the colors looked like mud. You're not using power tools, are you?
What happened to Scootaloo scootering all the time? I know she still does it, but it really seemed like her special talent was going to be more related to the scooter or extreme sports or something. And once again, later on, they continue to say Twilight Sparkle or Princess Twilight Sparkle like we're supposed to completely forget who they are. And we find out that their special talent is helping others find their special talents or learning how to be themselves, so this whole episode is kind of pointless because it doesn't telegraph that at all. Even with all the hiccups, they still put on a better stage performance than Princess Celestia in Season 8. The message of this episode is a little strange. It seems to be, if you try and fail, it's okay, as long as it's funny. I give this episode a 3 out of 5. It's not the best episode, but it's certainly not the worst. I'd say it's pretty close to middle as far as my episode ratings would go. I really enjoyed watching it again, and there's a lot of stuff in that episode that I didn't remember, and it's good to go back and watch the old ones occasionally. Well, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see the next videos I put out, and give it a like if you like my new format. And thank you.